Welcome to tonight's Insider Access briefing. We've got a bunch of things to get covered. Tonight's going to be a little bit of a shorter video update because we've covered quite a bit. We've been very busy. A lot of trades went active. A lot of Discord ideas were active. We have open trades that we've shared through email. Just a bunch of different things to recap. It would have been an email, but since we're dealing with charts, I felt it would be of greater value and more utility to everyone to go live and pull up some charts here. So let's get started. We start with Roku because why not take a different approach? We typically start with SPY. We'll talk about the markets, but we've kind of exhausted that, and we are moving into CPI data, and you know our view, and that's why we have some open ideas. But Roku, easy one. This was an insider access trade within Discord, and so what did we have? We know that we're looking for a move, we're looking for a rejection, because Roku actually, ultimately, if you keep going past this, and later on in the day, exploded well beyond 70.25. Of course, you can see here closing at 75.43, but our rejection, that's what we're looking for, a rejection for a move for profits, 70.25, and I think this is another, you can see the high right here, another to the penny trade, right? Perfect. Again, maybe I will sell a crystal ball one day. Sounds like a good business, but we hit to the penny exactly, 70.25, made a strong move down for $1.22 on a stock like Roku. That's a substantial move. Plenty of time here, a few minutes. We start to pull back. It's 45% up. That's an idea you take, trade, nail, profits. There's nothing else to do, right? It's already gone in your favor, 45%. You start to adjust stops, get strategic, make your exit. Again, like I said, Roku would later on explode and move up. And even if you test it again on a retest, you should be well ahead. So this is about as easy as it gets. And what I always tell everyone is I say, guys, look, the easiest ones to recap are winners, which makes tonight's email rather easy and tends to make these videos and updates much easier because it's so frequent relative to times where there's a stop out. But in analysis, it's very easy. Yeah. So we got the rejection we're looking for, yielded a strong move, touched down to 69.03 again, $1.22 up. Options contracts on this, the weekly is up about 45% plus. Should have probably been even higher on this rapid of a fall, right? Because we had a dramatic move down. You see the move up. This is a dramatic, sharp move down in the next minute or so for Roku. That's a fast, rapid move with the IV. It's just the liquidity wasn't as hot today, but it is what it is. So there's one from Discord, and that is a 45% move. We're going to move on and look at another trade idea that triggered as well, and that was Roblox. And so before we jump over and start looking at the chart on Roblox, I just wanted to touch on a quick point for using Discord. Here's a strong suggestion. I'm going to pop this up here. You see this is our trade idea. You can see it's from 6:30.23. This is left open. And we not only said Roblox will remain challenged, but as upside opportunity, we like the consolidation. So there's a shorter term gap fill for Roblox above 43.15. Again, had a multitude of different reasons. This isn't one you can miss, right? Like you can't miss this because it's a pretty big post. There's multiple bullet points. It wasn't in the middle of some long paragraph where it wasn't singled out. This is a big trade idea. And that trade area, the trade idea section within Discord, it's not flooded. So it's not like we have 10 million messages and hundreds of posts and there's back and forth dialogue. This was also one reason why I keep Discord so clean and I avoid the noise. I didn't make it a social house for places for meeting and having conversations. You don't want social programs and applications from a robot with no personality. So probably not the best thing for me to do. But I like to keep it clean and be very clear. Again, we say on the break of above 43.15, on strength with above 43.15, we like Roblox for upside. And we also like long-term underlying with light exposure to the bullish cycle. So if I see a long-term underlying, and I don't give a specific entry point, it means, from the point of the posting. So this was very clear. 6:30, like I said, this section doesn't have a lot. You go back 5 ideas, and this was the 6th most recent trade idea in that area. And so we're going to take a look here. So we see the idea we're talking about, and I like to be, like with Roku, where specific to the penny, it's profitable. You just have to be patient. If you like 100 trades a day, I'm not the 100 trades a day guy because I think those people are con artists, just throw everything at the wall. I like to be very specific. I take what I say very seriously, probably why I'm not a lot of fun. But that's okay. And we're specific on our trade idea. So I was looking for a gap fill. I was looking for a break above 43.15. I think we get the point. It was very clear and it was sitting inside of our trade section. Okay. So now let's go look at Roblox, right? Well, how powerful was the move through 43.15? Biggest move of the day was through 43.15, right? And it crushed. And you had a long time as it's approaching. So this is actually where I want to stop and give everybody an idea of how to better prepare for trades and Discord ideas. So I could keep, you can run a chart, you can keep a spreadsheet. A lot of people like to do that. You can keep updates. That's not going to help you organize to get into a trade idea, right? Because that doesn't tell you when it triggers. So I can have a spreadsheet that says, hey, just a reminder to myself, Roblox at 43.15. And if I'm following a lot of different things and my screen is full or I'm busy, or let's say I step away and I'm at work, or you have the kids to worry about or the dog, whatever it is, right? You might miss it. What's a spreadsheet going to do for you? It's not going to tell you when it's happening, right? Or if you write down a Post-it note, that's fine. That's great. Set up an alert. I've talked about this before. So I'm just going to go over it because I want to make sure everybody is better organized. It's easy. Something comes through on Discord. Something comes through an email. You like the trade idea. Let's say we said, 44.25. Let's pick something better. Now, 44.25 we like calls. Assume that did well, right? So this is where you like it. You like that trade idea. This is something you want to jump into. Maybe it is not happening for a few days. Maybe this is where price is at when that trade comes out. The moment it comes out, go into your brokerage, set an alert, make your life easier. Don't complicate things. Don't get yourself upside down. Don't get FOMO and upset when you go, I missed it. Someone should have tapped me on the shoulder and told me. No, right? You can't expect anybody to do that. There's a lot going on in any given day. You may prefer to engage with something, you may not. Set an alert. How do you do it? Well, Thinkorswim and all of the brokerages have alerts. Thinkorswim is actually really good because it's free. You can use it. Here, I'll show you. Really easy. Create an alert when it is at or above, right? Because we want calls. Or you could say at or below or above or below. Great. Set it. I'm setting at 42.65, so it'll go off now. And then you can go through your features down here. It's really easy, right? Do you want the bell? Do you want the whistle? Do you want the ring? Whatever you want. Set push notifications to mobile. One thing is I have gotten this feedback and I've observed it myself. Sometimes the push notifications to mobile lag. And I've heard of just lag at other times. I've had even the desktop lag. So what you do strategically, set it in advance, right? For something like this, 43.15, I can't give you an exact number of how far to set in advance. So for Roku, I could say set it about $1 in advance, right? So that'll be 42.15. Let's set this alert, right? Create alert. At or above, right? Tomorrow, if we opened above, it would trigger, right? Now, the reason I can't tell you the exact amount set it by is because for Roblox, $1 is pretty significant. For Tesla, it's not as significant, so you might not have enough time. The idea is this, it's really simple. Give yourself an ample amount of time. So if you're someone who's tied up and it usually takes you at least 5 minutes to wrap up, close some windows, get off a phone call or whatever else it is, then you want to say, hey, I want at least about 5 minutes. For Roblox, that'll probably be about $1, but you could stagger them just to make sure. That way, in case they're lagged. So maybe the first one is at 42.25, right? You set an alert here. And then you set another alert at, 42.80. So let's say this one lags. By the time you get it, maybe you get it around here. Good. Even if it lags a few minutes, you're getting it well ahead. So you can stagger them just to make sure it's grabbing your attention, it's popping up. Certainly don't set your alert at the entry point. I think this is logical. Why not? Because then the trade's already entered. It's not going to do you any good. How are you going to break away? If you need even 10 seconds, time's up. Here, we hit 43.15 and we shot up, too late, right? Set it, give yourself time. And when do you set it? Immediately. When you see a trade alert, when you see a trade idea that you like, jump on it. So let's talk about this trade. Another one, very easy. This isn't 45%. This didn't end up going against us. This skyrocketed, Roblox took off and went to 45.15. That's a 2-point move for Roblox. That is extremely substantial, right? Just under 5%, or about 4% plus. What did that do on the options contract? We're looking at just under 200%, right? So here's that big bar where we have the entry, 44 cents. 300% of the additional, just under 200% return, period, right? And then the same thing if you take in the 44s. These are both viable, right? Because it's within what we like. Again, there's consistency here. I typically like 40 to 80 cents. So this one got in at 44, just under 200%. This one we got in at 71, right? About 250, just over 250%. Absolute knock out of the park. Take the money, put it in the coffers. If you missed it, that's okay. Just a reminder to get better organized, right? The idea is no one can hold your hand and just say, hey, remember that one you liked? Nobody knows what trade you liked or didn't like. If you're interested in something, set a reminder. So Roku, a win in the morning. It's a 45%, 200 to 250%, almost beyond that on some of these Roblox ideas. Does the fun stop there? The fun does not stop there. Insiders on fire tonight. So this was the idea we shared. We just talked about it yesterday. I put the idea out, said energy, right? As early as Friday, as recent as yesterday, we were ready to go in, or Sunday evening, sorry, as a reminder for energy. Here's where we went in from yesterday's open off the email, or if you've gotten a little bit higher, skyrockets. I saw people posting 100% plus returns on the options contracts of weeklies. Again, another win. So 100% plus, 100 to 200% on Roblox, 45% on Roku. Like I said, these kind of emails are very easy because we're just recapping wins after wins again, which is far more frequent. That's what we see. But in terms strategically, there's not as much to discuss there. This is one you could take some size, run with it. Again, it depends on your timelines. We already have our projections for what we were looking for on the underlying. And then as we just look through the markets, we had a lot of other items run up, so we're not done yet. We also liked IYR within the REIT space. I said just in general, bullish on REITs. I don't know why I keep typing OYR. Okay, how about IYR? So our entry 86.45, not doing too bad, right? And even some of our other open positions are doing fantastic. We have such a good, robust portfolio here. Absolutely nailed it because we saw this bullish cycle heating up. And now let's spin back to the markets because it's win after win after win. But also, just a quick note to everybody, let's take a look here. And I do expect this to potentially change tomorrow because now CPI is coming. But let's look at the top players again. Apple, down. What did we say? What have I said? This is going to feel like a broken record. You're going to feel like you saw this yesterday. We said Apple sideways down, weakness. Microsoft, the big seven, struggling again. Amazon, what do we got? Sideways, right? Nvidia. Come on, Nvidia. Sideways down. Google. Kind of sideways. A little bit up actually on the day. Just almost exactly where we closed yesterday. Okay. So we'll go through the big six. What's number 7? What is the one security? You know this one by now. Was the one security I've said out of the top 7, the leaders? Oh yeah, sorry, Tesla. Sideways down. We said the same thing. What is the one single security we've singled out? You know it by now. Where I've said this is going to show alpha, relative strength to the others. Day in and day out said it, that the others are weakening. The markets are thinking, oh, the top 6 who have brought us here will continue to run. We've said no. It's going to be some of the smaller indexes, and we've been strategically trading the RSP, the IWN, the Russell 2000, of course, the ETFs. What do we say is going to do better? Relative. Meta. Here's yesterday's close. Today's open. Close. Right? Up $4.19. Right? So, like I said, there's no hearsay, no nonsense. A lot of big wins. Today's pretty easy. I wanted to take that opportunity to give the reminder. Yesterday we talked about strategic scalping techniques and how to perfect and better form your entries. Today is just a brush up on just how to remember and also how to list it for yourself. Again, spreadsheets are great. It keeps track of your profits, returns, and all that sort of thing. I know it will make updates say, hey, we got what we wanted. We can move on. But the only way to really line up a trade for yourself, you'll be able to monitor it all. Like even in your broker, you can go to analyze, you can go to monitor, you can look at your P&L sheet. The only way to remember a trade, the best way, unless it's intraday, set the alert. Set the alert and note that it's a trade you want to get into. You can even leave notes. I know with Thinkorswim, I never really leave the notes, but you can leave notes. So when it goes off, right, I'm just going to put nonsense there. When it goes off, it'll actually display your notes to you. So you can see the notes that you left to yourself. So you could say 5 contracts. Maybe that's something you told yourself in terms of positioning. You decided that you wanted to allocate budgets such that you'd purchase 5 contracts or whatever it is, right? You can leave notes for yourself. Just remember, maybe think about staggering some of these ideas. Oh, and back to Roblox really quickly. Something I wanted to look at. Just we talked about it. Said I said, look, there's been a lot of resistance here, right? And so this is part of why it drives me crazy. And you guys know that I have the merit to criticize, and it's easy for me to spot a lot of the nonsense and word games that people play. So you'd often see people just say, try to play guesswork. It's either going to reject or break through. If it breaks, it could go, but if it rejects, it'll go down. It's such silly, small-minded word games. I think maybe because I speak a few different languages, it's harder to con me naturally. Also my experience, but speaking a few different languages, you think differently in your head than just the way you would normally speak. And it wasn't just a matter, you don't always just look at something and say, oh, we're going to reject, because you could have easily taken that thought here and said, we'll have a rejection. Now, you might want to play rejection and it still goes up. We did that on Roku, but we didn't play the top of the range on Roku. We were playing a strategic rejection point. I actually said, no, it's going to break through. And talked about filling the gap, right? Filled the gap. That's the gap right there, right? Bang. Here's your gap. Yep. With that gap fill. Move down and then fill the gap all the way. So it's not always a matter of just randomly picking. Sometimes I'm going to say, look, I'm looking at a rejection because it depends on a lot of the underlying. That's why I give some of those bullet points when I'm calling out the trade idea and saying, look, no. We've rejected and we've seen a lot of resistance here, but we're going to break it and we're going to run to the upside and we're going to fill the gap. That's what we want to hit. That's why I was showing you guys the Roku trade idea, because again, it's very specific. I hate this guesswork nonsense furu garbage. It just says, we'll reject. Why? Because we've rejected before. Okay, so you know nothing and you're just guessing, and anybody could look at a chart and just take a guess. Well, here's the cool part. Just always keep this in mind. At every single price, you will either reject or advance, right? 42.71. Well, it's been through there several times. It went up sometimes and it went down sometimes. It rejected or it advanced. Again, we're very specific with this. So just want to show that the gap filled. I'm not someone who chases gaps, but I've explained where they fit in strategically and how to peg when you see something that can move towards a gap fill. And that tends to align with your directional trade idea. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, today was just a little bit of it's a quick review. I may set this actually to a public video just to help people. The point that's really important, I think, for a lot of people is organizing their trades. Trade alerts really help. And again, it's not just a Thinkorswim feature. You can set this up in IBKR. The Thinkorswim, actually, I'll give them credit here. They do have more features for these reminders, right? Because you can have so many different fields that you could fill out, and you can even customize your sounds. You can set it pretty easy, send text messages during hours, after hours, etc. Send an email to specified email addresses. It's pretty easy to set up. You can even set your alert by moving within this preview. So that's a reminder to everybody. Recap on some of our trade ideas. Our trade ideas are on fire. Again, take profits, be happy. And the last point is, we have been calling. We knew exactly when the Feds were going to pause. That's something I went on record for. I went public and I said the Feds will pause. And as you know, I take what I say very seriously. I don't just throw it around. I'd never said that before through the entire cycle. And we talked about how very high probability we have that knockout CPI print. I was comfortable with the positions we have, so many different trades and so many wins, that we didn't have to get overzealous. You see the markets buying up towards the end of the day. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but we've positioned ourselves to multiple wins. And just it's been a really busy period within insiders. We were taking advantage of this bullish cycle, and we'll let the data guide us from tomorrow. Might be a little bit of a slow day tomorrow for us, despite what we see in the markets. Again, just tidying up on the trades and our winning trades, take profits, be strategic, because we'll see how the markets react. We're going to look for the data coming in. We know what our overarching thesis is. And if the data comes in strong, if we see a good CPI print and then we see a bit of a sell-off, that will create some opportunities. But we will play the opportunities based on how the markets progress. We know that the overarching theme is one with concern as we move into earnings. So the window begins to tighten. I want to see that strong CPI print, and it might be a little bit of a roller coaster. Markets pop on a strong CPI print, then we start to see some pockets of weakness. I think some companies start to report in weaker, particularly on the mega caps, not as exciting. But then we get back to the Feds and it creates another opportunity for a pop. So much more to come. And like I said, these are the easy days, everyone. Much more to come.